Four comedians are also real good friends, working on jokes, the fun never ends. They're asking each other, is this anything?
I don't know why Rob was late, but I know Brett was late probably because he's putting his yellow handkerchief somewhere hilarious.
I think he said he was done with the bit.
No, that bit is done.
That bit's done?
That bit's
Last
done.
week, he said.
Now that he's saying that it's done, it's definitely not done.
Next time, but I don't
can't
think.
wait for the reveal.
5 bandanas out of my back.
That was my favorite thing that's happened in these.
Yeah, Brett, I don't know how you're going to heighten it, but I know you're going to.
I am not
that.
going to heighten it.
He is a true showman. Look at him right now.
I have nothing.
He's really selling it. He's
nothing.
really selling the fact that he's
this
not
is
doing
good.
another bandana bit.
This is crazy.
I hope you guys are at my funeral like, maybe he's not going to do it.
Ta-da! Just shooting out bandanas.
And then we go to the reading of the will, and it's on a bandana, and we're like, you got it.
I like that you think that we're gonna outlive you for some reason.
No, I've revealed too much about my inner thoughts.
Great. Welcome back, guys. How has everyone's week been?
Doing great.
Pretty good, except the stolen identity thing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. That's awful.
Yeah, pretty good for me, except for the diagnosis. Yeah. But pretty good. Other than that.
Yeah, I had a pretty good week, too, except for the untimely death of my fiance.
Was it that you were just too lazy to resuscitate her?
She was like, "Baby, could you get my pills really quick? They're right next to you." And I was just like, I don't know. Did you get it? She was dead.
It's pretty on brand.
How about you, Rob?
Week was good. I spent it with my dad. He was he had a small surgery, but he is better now, and it was fun. I got to spend a good 10 days at home, which is I think a record actually so far in my adult life. It seems like I don't think I've spent.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I wasn't thinking too much about it, but as I was there, I said, "Wow, I haven't spent this much time in a very long time in this house."
Were you towards the end? Were you like ready to get back to your apartment?
No, actually, I wasn't missing anything. There's obviously nothing going on in New York City, and then my apartment is prison cell like. There's at home I could walk, I go for runs. It was beautiful out, so it's really kind of cool. He had like Netflix for the first time, so we just went crazy. We watched 2 seasons of Better Call Saul and 3 seasons of Ozark, and I was like,
wow.
I haven't seen Ozark yet.
So you guys
Ozark
didn't
is
talk
great.
at all while you were there for 10 days.
No.
I do think it's funny that we were all doing a bit about like the awful things that happened during our week, and then we finished the highest one should have been Rob's, but that was actually a real thing that happened.
What
About his dad going through surgery.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, that's true.
My mom also had surgery this week.
Oh my God, what kind of surgery did she undergo?
The structure of this bit is to shit, guys. It is completely falling apart.
She so she finished chemo.
Hey, congratulations.
There we go, back on track.
And she had they knew about it before anything, but she had this apparently non-cancerous tumor on her lung, so they removed that, and hopefully, I guess they're sending it to the lab or whatever just to make sure. And if everything's cool with that, then in a couple weeks she'll just start radiation, and then she should be done.
Oh, good, man.
Yeah. All right. We wish her the best, of course.
Oh yeah.
I like the idea that you get a tumor removed because like it's not cancerous, but you're like, oh, it's just so ugly. On my lung.
Her lung was so much hotter before.
It's messing up the feng shui of my chest.
Just wanted to redecorate.
I was gonna get one of the cool fan things with the rakes, but I figured I'd just get rid of the tumor.
Oh, did you hear about Betty? She got a lung lift.
Ooh.
You can totally
knew
tell.
she did something. She looked too good. She said it was a lung cream, but I knew that was bullshit. All right, you guys ready to get this party started?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
The
All right, Jarret.
order for this week is Rob, Anthony, Jarret, Brett.
Nah.
Well, how did you know that? Because you didn't even activate the jar.
I know. I didn't hear. Blip,
Yeah,
blip,
I don't.
blop, blop.
I didn't hear
I
anything.
didn't even hear it.
Is it even plugged in? Is it broken?
I printed out. I ran the jar machine like 10 times, and I printed out the orders. So now I just read them off a piece of paper.
Oh.
Cool.
Wow.
You have so how far in the future do you have? These are set.
Well, what I did, I didn't
these,
want to
like-
waste any electricity, so I only ran the jar machine for how long I think the show is going to last for. So I've got like 10,000 variations because I'm figuring I don't know how many years that is, but that's this thing has got staying power.
Yeah, 10,000.
10,000 twice a week.
I think we're good.
That's 5,000
I think
weeks.
5,000
5,000 weeks, 52 weeks a year.
Okay.
What is that? 100 years? Something like that.
Great.
Yeah.
All
All right, you ready to get started?
If I may, I'm ready to start. Pressing
Okay.
go. I've got two ideas for you here.
All right.
That I want to get across. One, when I went to college, I started meeting kids from all over the country. You ever meet someone who grew up in like a big city like Chicago or New York? You ever notice the way they talk about drugs? They're just like, yeah, man, there's so many people and so much going on when I was growing up. Of course I was going to do drugs by the time I was like 14. I'm like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. And then I meet a kid from like a rural town, population 200. He's like, man, there was nothing to do in my town. Of course I did drugs. I'm like, yeah, all right. And then you ever talk to like a poor kid? They're like, man, we had no money growing up. The little money I had I spent on drugs. You ever talk to a rich kid and they're like, man, I had so much money, of course I bought drugs. It's like, I think you guys just like drugs. Like, I don't think you have to come up with any fancy reason. That seems to be the equalizer. So that was the thought I had.
I like that. So I guess, yeah. Is there something else maybe that they also use as maybe they give that same excuse for where they grew up to justify other things?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know if that's the direction to go, but
I do like the idea that everybody does like drugs or they've been exposed to it in their own way at some point in their lives, and they think that it's specific or unique to them or it's justified for them because of this. But when you kind of zoom out, you're like, everybody's doing drugs at some point.
right.
Or you're exposed
so what
to it.
is? I guess my question is, what is something else that people all really like where they don't have to justify that? And then you can juxtapose those things to be
Like
like,
pizza.
this is how ridiculous it is that you're giving this
Right.
justification of it.
Obviously,
Yeah.
I
You
ate a
said
lot of pizza
pizza?
growing up because we were so poor.
Yeah.
And I was rich. I could eat pizza whenever I wanted. Quick thing. So number one, my microphone unplugged. Just want to make sure I'm good volume-wise.
You're good.
Oh, you sound great.
Okay. Number two, I think there might be room there to chop that bit up a little bit because you go big city kid, small city kid.
Yeah.
And they both did drugs. And so I think it might be funny to say, like, and then you talk to people from, like, medium-sized suburbs, and they're like, yeah, we didn't do drugs because, we weren't a big city or small town. We
Yeah.
were right in that sweet spot where you
That-
don't do drugs.
I love that. Oh, go ahead, Anthony. I think
You
you're
know,
going to
the
say
right
what I was
amount
going
of
to say.
people.
I mean, that sort of reminds me of like it's almost like a Three Bears. It was just right in the
Just the
suburbs,
right amount
but we
of
also
drugs.
did drugs.
Yeah, I was actually. I know. It's funny that you. Once you started saying that, Jarret, I wanted to go the complete other direction. Where it's like I grew up in a suburb, so all my friends did tons of drugs, just the right amount of nothing to do / too much to do. Whatever.
Knowing lots of people.
Yeah. Yeah, but Anthony, that's really funny. A sort of Goldilocks scenario of drug use.
I couldn't remember her name. I remembered the Bears.
That's super funny. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I should mention that sort of urban sprawl, suburban community, and what the drug use there. Because what I want to ultimately get to is that we all have, we're all experienced and been exposed to drugs in some way, shape, or form, and there's no reason to justify it based on your socioeconomic status or population size or anything else. But people do. Am I like, by the way, alone on this? Have you seen people sort of like justify or talk about their childhood in that way. We're like, yeah, well, I grew up here, so Long Island, man. All we did was bad. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah. Okay.
I grew up in the Bronx in the mid to late 80s. So I remember crack vials in the gutters. I was
Wow.
like 4 years old and I knew what crack vials looked like. So so I think that's I guess that's sort of
I
related
guess
to
what I
it.
mean to say is that I feel like that everybody has like the way that you presented your upbringing is the way everybody presents their upbringing. They're like, well, I mean, I grew up in small
Yeah.
town in Minnesota, so you can imagine. I'm like, what can I imagine? Lots of drugs, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but the Bronx in the 80s.
No, I'm not saying the Bronx
think-
80s is not
If I may,
drug infused.
this feels very much like the perspective of someone like yourself.
Who's on drugs
Who
is the name of the bit.
Who? Where do we buy our crack from? Who?
Who's
Who?
on drugs? What's on coke?
guy.
I don't know who's on that.
What's the name of the guy we buy crack from? No, we get heroin from what?
I don't know. Crack it.
How good is that bit?
That's a great.
So
that's a
good.
great bit.
Perfect.
So, like I said, Rob, you are a sober person. This
Yes.
feels very much like this perspective of a sober person. Like how, because, my perspective, I don't remember hearing this. I had a little bit more, like, I think Pete Holmes has a joke about how he's, like, the only person that Dare worked for. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, they told us drugs were bad, so I didn't do drugs. And I had that as well growing up. Like, I
Same.
didn't start drinking until I was like a senior in high school. I remember being a freshman and my friends were talking about like doing Adderall or getting Coke for the weekend, and I was like, aren't drugs bad?
Yeah.
And the look they gave me of just like, who invited this fucking narc,
Yeah.
to our college? So I don't know. I'm not sure if it's, you were talking earlier about like there's I jokes, we jokes, and they jokes. This feels like a you joke. This feels like this is my perspective as opposed to, you guys remember hearing about this, but I might be wrong about that.
Gotcha.
I
That's a good way to
think-
put it.
I will chime in and just say, Rob, I have not had this experience of hearing this from other people.
Okay.
I also didn't start drinking until I was 18, and I think the first time I bought pot I was a freshman in college. But everybody that I knew, all my friends started drinking and doing drugs probably around 14.
It is still funny that you're like, hey, the first time I drank was when I was 3 years younger than I was supposed to. And I bought illicit drugs.
But everybody
when
that
I was
I
in
knew
college.
was already drinking for years.
Yeah.
Like I would go to punk rock shows and stuff, and I was like one of the only, I guess there were like straight edge kids or whatever. But
Not to philosophize too much, but I agree with you, Jarret. It's interesting because people talk about the ineffectiveness of DARE, but I do recall being like, that sounds like valuable information, and I'm glad someone told me it, and that's what I kind of stuck with in my mind. And I don't know if it's just the propensity that I had as a kid and would have had anyway, even if there wasn't a police officer in my 6th grade class telling me this. I'm not 100% sure, but at least there was something. There was some guiding force telling you like, hey, this is the alternative. You could potentially, and maybe it just holds you off like it did Anthony or yourself for just long enough where it doesn't creep into your life during your absolute most formative years of like 14, 13 years old. And if it can kind of push it off until you're a little bit got a sense of yourself, then maybe the effects wouldn't be so disastrous. I'm not sure.
yeah.
But
I think it's crazy that there are 14. Like I remember being a freshman in high school. People were doing cocaine in front of school. Like we're 14. What the fuck?
I know. That's
Cocaine?
nuts.
Yeah,
I think
not
it's
to get too far off track, but I just don't know how I managed to avoid it. Like, my brother was the weed dealer at our high school. And
Wow.
he smoked me out, like, at some point really early on, but I was never like, oh, this is something I want to do every week, or, like, really seeking it out or anything. It just kind of like, it was a blip, and then he went that way. He went down the doing drugs avenue, and then, continued smoking pot, and, started following Fish and the Dead and stuff, and then I just never did that until, decades
Till
later.
now.
Yeah, exactly.
Know what happened to him? He just went down a path, and
I wish I had a
brother,
bowl
not
of,
me though.
I wish I had a bowl of mushrooms I could have just eaten as I was telling that story. I'm sorry, I just ate into so much of your time telling you my
No, I like that. I
my
like that.
biography, but I just thought that was really interesting.
To get back to the joke,
All right, fuck you too, Brett.
no, I did have an actual idea. If there's somewhere like super removed where you wouldn't even like think that you would buy drugs, like somebody's like, oh yeah, I lived on Mars for a year, so of course I found out how to make drugs out of the rocks.
I was on the International Space Station.
I had so obviously we were
really
smoking
funny.
those worms.
I was a mole person, grew up in the sewer system, so of course I did drugs.
I mean, obviously I huffed sewer fumes.
It might
All
be.
right, there's an angle I
Tough
like. So I
sewer.
have to wrap things up. I need to find the relatability to the audience because I'm making some wild assumptions, I guess, from the jump.
Well, no, I think you just saying that anecdotally, like you have had this experience, that's enough.
Okay. Right. So yes, changing the perspective a bit, and then also, one of these tags might really benefit, which is cool because this is actually a unique joke where I've tried it a couple times on stage, not many, and it always was like, that's not the way to tell this joke, and I've never really quite gotten it right. So I'm glad I brought it here to you guys, which is nice.
Have you? What
yeah.
about mentioned something? I don't know if you mentioned school or whatever, but you could mention something about homeschool, and then because that would be kind of funny.
Oh,
If somebody who was homeschooled still somehow was.
They still somehow got themselves.
Where are they getting it from? The parents?
Obviously, my mom was my dealer.
Yeah, that's true because I've been doing this cross-sectional thing where it's like, whether it's populated or not, rich or poor, school or homeschooled. Yeah, it doesn't seem, no matter what slice of the population you want to go through, you're going to find some kind of drugs.
Homeschool. Oh, they were popping Ritalin, maybe.
Yeah.
Kids. Pill poppers.
Or they're like, well, I was homeschooled, so I mean, I was always on my mom's prescription medication,
Vicodin.
Yeah.
I was taking my mom's estrogen supplements. Getting so fucked up
I
off
got
of.
these kick-ass tits when I was 12.
I was doing so much E back then, estrogen.
That's great. You know what? I'll just I'll call it there. I'll bring the other joke on Friday. We'll do
Are you
that.
sure? I feel bad. I ate so much.
Don't
of your
feel bad.
time
Hey man,
talking about
we got 10,000 of these.
I think
100 years left of this show.
oh, shit, that's good. What are we doing
Okay.
less? Did we agree we're doing less?
Yeah, I went for 12.
Oh, 12. Okay.
I wanted to do that.
But
All right.
10 of it was Jared telling a story about drugs.
No, I liked it.
All right, Anthony, you're up.
All right. Let's see. Let's see what I have. I don't have much. I've been working on music.
Don't worry, Jared will fill in the rest.
Yeah.
So my sister.
Oh boy.
It's all going to lead to a recipe that he's got.
That's like, oh boy, what a callback! Oh my god, it's like a half court shot of a callback right there. All right, Anthony, you have 3 minutes left.
Okay. Let's see. Let's all right. Let me know. Is this?
A thing.
I just started a new diet. I still eat whatever I want, but while I'm eating, I wear a disguise so that the food doesn't know who I am. That way the calories don't count.
Is it because your identity was just stolen? Is this on your mind?
I like that this joke. I wanted a follow up line of like, oh, I didn't eat that ice cream. That was Debbie. And then now I have you as Debbie eating a yogurt or
I like
ice
that.
cream.
What if you do it this way? I'm sorry. I know it's a different joke, but you start with, I just had my identity stolen, so I'm going to eat whatever I want until I get it back or something like that.
Oh, okay.
That way I'm not violating my diet.
Yeah.
I'm breaking my diet.
Yeah, it would be. I think the challenge would be because it's like two setups. So getting to both of the setups in a way that doesn't feel like I'm trying too hard.
Yeah. Anthony, I want to just reiterate what Brett said. I love this joke. It's so fucking funny, but I do think there's a room for like a tag or an act out, like, you know, the food's like, which way did it go? And you're like, he went that way or something.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
just
good.
like,
I like both of these so far. Yeah,
That's
went
good.
that way, and
so it's such a funny idea.
Yeah, I want to. What other like who? What are the disguises? I really want to know. Like,
oh yeah, I think So this is an idea that I think I had a while ago, and I could never figure out how to make it into a joke. I think that I started out saying something about wearing fake fur and eating like veggie patties, or like I was trying to just pick all like fake versions of whatever it was, but none of that really added to the joke. So then I just said wear a disguise.
Maybe the food says something like, have you seen a blonde woman with, with a, I'm just trying to think of like a really funny disguise that you would see in like a cartoon or something.
Yeah.
Have you seen a really elegant woman with a mink shawl and a martini glass? She just ate a chocolate cake, and we need to know where to deliver the calories. And you're like, I think she went that way, or something.
Or it's just
was it you? No, I'm on a diet.
I do like that line. That's great. It's
There
just,
were
just two
love
of
handles
these.
are pounding at my door.
Mm-hmm.
I turn the lights off.
It almost
blinds.
feels like a soap opera also, where it's like, you have your twin that does everything, and so the food is
Oh.
like, have you seen blah blah blah, and you're like, that would be my Aunt Consuela.
Or it's me with just a mustache.
Yeah, exactly.
Or when I have a mustache, I could say it as me without a mustache.
That's good.
I was gonna say there might be a room if you're gonna go with the soap opera way of like for an act out to like take off your glasses and then be like, oh no, that wasn't me, and then put them on and be like,
You have your disguise joke
That wasn't
too.
me.
Right.
That or what's that? What if it's just two of me standing on top of one another wearing a trench coat and a hat?
There we go. Two of
I
me.
love that. It feels very meta. It feels like the audience needs to be into a certain kind of humor for that to fly.
Yeah.
But I
if
love
you
it. I
rate-
think it's great.
great album name for your next album, Anthony. Heavy Meta.
Ooh.
Ooh, I
Heavy
really
meta.
like that.
I feel like Rob, did you suggest that?
I did suggest it. I wanted Brett to have his moment. So I wasn't gonna chime in. It was a
Because
private conversation.
because of the
It's fine.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, he was
No,
not.
it was
Oh, okay.
No,
it
no,
was
no,
like
no.
3 years ago, I think.
Yeah. I really
Oh,
wanted
okay.
your album to be heavy metal.
Oh, I felt so bad for a moment. I was like, oh,
No,
man,
no,
I
not
don't remember
at
that at all. I really thought I just came up with that.
Rob, we're gonna.
I was more hurt when Anthony didn't remember. I was like, damn it. All right, it's Brett's idea. I
Okay,
guess.
you can suggest it again in a week. Anthony will have no idea.
It was
Is it because he grew up in the Bronx?
Yeah, all that
he's-
crack cocaine on
a lot of
the
crack.
gutters.
Rob, we wanted to give that one to Brett because of the diagnosis, right?
Right. Oh, the crack in the gutters in the 80s. That's how the Ninja Turtles came to be, by the way.
That's right.
Crack
Oh,
in the
that's what
gutters.
the ooze was?
Yeah.
It was
Old
crack.
crack?
It was just
crack.
crack.
Old wet crack?
Not a lot of people know that if you give crack to your turtles, they will turn enormous and they will know how to fight.
That was the secret. Secret of the ooze.
Old wet crack.
Crack, just add water.
I gotta go rewatch those movies.
Do you know those like shrinky dinks that you would put in water and then they would like get really big? That was
Oh,
just
yeah.
crack. That was just crack.
Wait, that wasn't Shrinky Dinks. Shrinky Dinks you put in the oven and they got smaller.
Oh, right. What were the thing that you put in water like then they would grow? Like I remember
I don't know.
dinosaurs
Plants?
or whatever. Yeah, plants.
Was it plants?
It was plants.
No, that's when you put water in the thing.
Plants, just add water.
Rob's like, why are my pants growing? He's got an aquarium with plants in it. I don't understand. I put all these seeds.
And they keep beating the shit out of the foot soldiers. Oh boy.
So did you get all that, Anthony?
I got it. That's all going into the joke.
I think you should call your album Heavy Meta.
No. I was thinking I might call my album Heavy Meta.
Oh, nice.
That's good.
That's smart.
Good suggestion, Brett.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't know about this. I was looking through old ideas, and this I think was from when I was new in comedy, or definitely newer, because I would normally not write a homeless person joke. But hear me out. I think that maybe this is different. When a homeless person asks me for money, I go right to the liquor store and buy them the booze myself. Otherwise, they'll just spend it on food.
I think that's funny.
Is that punching down? Because it's like the character in the joke. My character, feels like I'm supposed to be an asshole, right? I know that they're gonna buy food, but I want them to. For whatever reason, I want them to buy booze.
Yeah.
It's not about them. I'm sort of like they're sort of given the benefit of the doubt in the joke, right? That they're gonna spend it on food.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, what is that? Beep. Oh, that's a justification alarm.
Oh no!
This is
Sorry, I didn't
new.
even notice it was blinking in the
Oh.
background.
Wow, no, this is horrible.
So maybe we just need some justification as to why you want these homeless people.
Do you
to
have a
buy-
justification?
No, I was just saying
You
that's
just
what.
got the
That's
alarm.
always my note. My note is always I need justification. So that's why I installed this alarm.
It's not very useful, Brett.
Okay, just
It'd be
came to
better
good
if
use right
there-
now.
If you had one that detected when you had a justification.
I'm gonna work on it.
Yeah, the thing that, I think it's really funny too, Anthony, but I think Brett kind of nailed it with needing a justification, because it really feels like it's missing something, and I think that something is a foundation.
Is there some other... is there another thing like that exists that maybe doesn't involve homeless people? Where it's like that thing where people always say they're just going to buy booze, but is there like a thing where I can not make it be a homeless person joke?
I mean, the only other thing I can think of is like when kids ask you to buy them booze outside of a liquor store or outside of a 7-Eleven or whatever.
That might be.
If you do it with kids, you buy the kids alcohol because you just figured that's what they wanted, something like that. Maybe because you don't want to be tricked. These kids asked me for money, saying that it was for their soccer team, but I knew they were just going to buy alcohol with it. I'm no idiot, so I just went in and bought a booze. Not going to be tricked by some kids.
I don't want to be a fool.
I don't know. I was just trying to think maybe because I wouldn't write that joke now, but when I saw it,
I
was
don't
like,
hate it because of
no,
what
it's
you
not
said. I don't hate it
about it.
because it does seem like your moral ambiguity in the joke is funny enough where it's not you're forcing it on this person. They have not made that decision. So I kind of don't it doesn't really make me think, oh man, you're making fun of this person for no good reason. I don't see that. So that I didn't feel that way when you said it. I understand why you're just like, is that what I want to spend my time doing? Do I even care to take a homeless person down a notch?
Yeah.
But
Wait till
I
the
don't
world
know.
hears my hot take on
Yeah.
homeless people buying booze.
Yeah, to me, it's more of like, well, I'm flipping this concept on its
Yeah.
on its head.
Yeah.
But in order for the joke to work, I always think some kind of justification helps.
I don't know if this will help, but this is something that I thought about when you said that you wouldn't write this joke now. Because I was like, because you were like, this is a joke that I wrote really early on in comedy. And then you became a comedian, and you became so poor that you virtually became a homeless person, and so you wouldn't make that joke now. And so I was thinking it might be
homeless on
funny.
tour, actually.
Yeah, exactly. It might be funny to do that joke and then be like, I wrote that joke really, really early on before I had any empathy for homeless people, and then I became a comedian, and now I am a homeless person, or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, that is, I guess, and that would be the justification, wouldn't it? Or
I mean that
Brett, is that not what you had in mind?
I
that
can't hear
feels
the
more
alarm.
like a tag that sort of like saves you from being offensive. You know.
Yeah.
I think you could write something beforehand. You could add a justification to
Can you say the joke one more time?
joke itself.
Oh yeah. Shit, where's it? Sorry, I lost the page. Fuck. God damn it.
God damn it.
I thought I had it.
Well, while he's looking for this, I'll tell you guys about my aunt.
I had a separate drug joke that was very similar to this. At least the setup was, but it's not taking the swipe that Anthony feels like he's taking. I was walking with a friend, and we passed a homeless guy, and he asked us for money, and my friend just looks at me. He's like, he's just gonna buy drugs with it. And I was like, you're just going to buy drugs with it. We're all buying drugs with our money. I don't understand.
Wait, have you done that on
Yeah,
stage?
I've done it. I've done it a few times. But I've never really, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like jokes need a home. I don't know why. So
does that guy.
All right, I'll call it there. That was great.
That's good. I have the page now. When a homeless person asks me for money, I go right to the liquor store and I buy them the booze myself. Otherwise, they'll just spend it on food.
Yeah, this isn't the justification, but something along this lines, just so you can see what I'm saying, is like, I hate extra steps. Would be enough to somehow justify why you're doing this.
Yeah,
I always want to be as efficient as possible.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't think that really sells it. There's something funnier in there. There's something more honest, where we don't quite see it coming, or seems more honest to you. But that's the type of justification I want in the joke.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because your turn is that you know for a fact that they're going to buy food with it.
And for some reason, I don't want them to have
you
it.
don't want them to have that. Yeah.
Right.
Don't really...
Maybe if it's like, I like helping homeless people in my specific way. Like I don't like, where because people do have that, right? They don't want to give money, but they'll give money to a shelter. They don't want to give money directly, but they won't mind doing a food drive or giving them a sandwich. They're like, I'll give them food, but I'm not going to give them cash. And what you're saying is like, I'll give him booze, but I'm not giving him cash because he's probably going to buy food.
What if that's
I like that. That is a funny concept.
What if the justification is something like, I think that the world needs to be more fun. I think that everybody needs to enjoy life a little bit more. So whenever a homeless man asks me for money, I go right to the store and buy him booze because I don't want them using that money on food.
Yeah, I think something like that would work. Because these homeless people, they come from big cities, small towns,
middle income suburbs.
What if you're like, I was homeless for a little while, and I have to tell you, being drunk made it a lot more bearable. So when
you're
somebody
never
asks me
hungry
money,
when you're drunk. Wait, no, you always. Is it a funny line if I say, I don't have any real goals, I just have prosthetic ones?
I like it. It's cute.
I don't get it.
They're not real. They're prosthetic goals.
Oh, I see.
I would like implants better.
What?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Implants. Because I don't think anyone describes their legs as real legs.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Only people who don't have real legs and are trying to convince you that they do.
What would be a better way to say?
Like nobody looks at
goals?
Oscar Pistorius and is like, "Great legs, are they real?"
But people do refer to their boobs as real versus fake.
exactly.
That's why implants, I think, works better.
I agree with
than
Rob.
prosthetic.
Implant goals? I mean, I think prosthetic
No, they're
goal-
just implants. I don't have real goals. They're just implants.
Oh, but I think
I don't have real tits. They're just implants.
But I think that the funny part of that joke is saying that the goals are prosthetic, isn't it?
No, the goals. I mean, it's the same. Is it not the same joke? It's the same joke.
But the word prosthetic is, I think, what makes the
I agree with Anthony. I think
Yeah,
that's
but
I
what
agree
if
with Rob.
when you're talking about.
But what if when you're saying prosthetic, people think you're saying popsicle? It's a real word, and they could confuse the two.
At some
But
of these
this-
comedy clubs, the sound system.
I can't believe that's the thing that is referenced like 3 weeks later.
Every episode, that's our runner.
It's the scarves and porch. Which I think was a good note, honestly.
Anthony, I have to tell you, I went
That's why it
back
keeps
and
coming up.
I totally see. I after watching it the second time, I was like, oh, Anthony is right. It's not a hard consonant, and if you're saying Porsche to table, people would kind of be like, oh, I don't. What is he talking about? A car? It's not. It's not quite clear. It's not.
Yeah.
It is. It
Ruins
is
the
such a,
joke for no
a
reason.
mushy word.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is
you
true.
have to be careful about them understanding what you're saying for no reason when you could just say Chrysler or something else.
Yeah. Jarret, did you ever look up that Porsche is an acceptable pronunciation of the word?
I didn't look that up. Did you look
Okay.
that up, Rob?
Of course I did. I wanted to prove that I
Wow,
was
what
right.
what a passive aggressive way to make your point, Rob. Instead of saying,
just-
I looked it up. Say, hey,
Nope.
Jarret, did you ever?
I hated it for 3 weeks. Just sitting in my heart like a lump. Why did you say I was wrong on that? I'm not wrong.
Just by quick poll, how many people looked up if the proper pronunciation of Porsche? Just raise your hand. Oh, I did. Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's good.
Jared, I noticed your hand isn't up.
So you just like saying things without backing it up with information, and you don't want to look it up later? Okay, that's cool.
All right, I think that's Anthony's time.
I think that was.
I was done. Yes.
Wait, no, I don't feel like we solved this.
We're
prosthetic.
split. We are evenly split
prosthetic
between
thing?
prosthetic and
Yeah.
implants. Hey, if you're watching at home, go ahead and
All in.
Sound off.
and sound
all
off in the
in.
comments and let us know what you think the better word is: implants or prosthetic.
I don't feel like we have to get to the heart of the joke before we even know. Right now, I think prosthetic is a funnier word than implant.
Yeah,
but I
But
don't
I think
know
it's
what the heart of
funnier
the joke
to
is.
make the connection between a woman's fake breasts versus a person's missing limb.
Yeah.
But if you say implant, I just am like, what is an implanted goal?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's the prosthetic goal?
It's a fake goal.
To me,
guess. The same-
an implant goal is like, is that a thing? But a prosthetic goal, that's definitely not a thing.
Just to be clear, the way I want to word it is, I don't have any real goals. They're just implants. So that is, I don't know if that helps, but
And all the truckers agree with Rob.
We love it.
no, I think prosthetic does have funnier consonants for sure. But the opposite of real is fake. The opposite of real is not prosthetic. So the opposite of real tits is fake tits. So how do you get fake tits? You get them with implants. And I don't see people referring to their legs as either prosthetic legs or real legs.
But when I think of a prosthetic leg, I think that's a fake leg.
Okay. I guess
What I
thought of it
want
that way.
is for Anthony to do this joke like 30 times, 15 me and Rob's way, 15 Anthony and Brett's way.
All
and
on the
then-
same show.
It's my whole set.
On the 27th time, I'm like, I think we got it. I think this is it.
It worked best on the 27th. It was sort of a line that I had a while back, and I decided to sort of throw it into this song that I'm working on now. So it's not really that important.
I would like your version better, Rob, if it was, I don't have any real goals, so people always ask me if I had a goal job.
It's funny too.
That's pretty good. I
That
still
is
like
good.
implants.
But I think if I was going to change a word in this joke, I don't have any real goals, just prosthetic ones. I would
That's
rather
good.
change the word real. I don't have any real goals. I only have prosthetic ones. I think is.
That still feels incomplete to me. I want to know what a prosthetic goal is. I need an analogy of how not having real goals, that's something analogous to having a prosthetic leg.
That's not why you get prosthetics. You get your leg removed, and then you get a prosthetic, or you get your leg horribly mangled and sawed off. But you have real tits, or you have fake tits, or you put the fake tits into you. You know, I don't. These aren't real. Oh,
What if we added? What if we added
that's where I'm going
big
crazy.
to the first part, where we're like, I have really big goals. You know,
All prosthetic.
I mean, they're not naturally big.
I would
They're
sooner
like-
say my goals as a kid have been shattered, so now I have prosthetic ones. That tracks more to me than saying
now
I
we're
don't
getting
have real goals, because I don't say, oh, I don't have real legs, they're prosthetic. I don't. What human has said that?
What if I said I used to
I don't
have
think
real
so.
goals, now I only have prosthetic ones?
After a goal accident, I was disfigured in a horrible shattering of my dreams.
My dreams crashed.
Yeah.
I was in a horrible dream accident.
My vision board fell off the wall.
All right, I think that's Anthony's time.
Yeah, for real this time.
But I feel like now we've gotten more. We've addressed that joke better.
Yeah, it's something to think about.
It felt incomplete to me. Our
Yeah.
feedback on that.
I agree.
What was Rob? What was your note
I
again?
think.
It was,
I would
they were
sooner
shattered?
say, my goals, my dreams or goals, whatever. As a kid, were shattered.
Oh, maybe it's dreams.
Now I have
instead of
prosthetic
goals.
ones.
Yeah, maybe it's dreams instead of goals. Anyway, well, that's my. I'm done.
Broken. Yeah.
All right.
I like it. I like both of them. I'm glad you shared both those. Thanks, man.
Who is up next?
Jarret
Okay.
Berenstein.
Oh,
do it.
Can we
no
just
wonder.
get a?
No wonder. he was
Anthony,
so
can you
into-
just get a clip of Jarret yelling his own name like that, just out of context? Maybe that'll be in his intro, introducing Brett, Rob, and Jarret.
Okay, so this is gonna fit into the drug material that I have in my set. It's funny we've been doing so
We're all
much
doing
stuff
drugs.
about drugs. We're all doing drugs. Subtitle for the show.
Who's on
Right.
drugs? Is the name of the episode.
Oh, right.
Okay, so after in the bit where I talk about what drugs I do and what drugs I don't do, I say I don't do heroin. I did have a roommate that did heroin. He didn't tell me that he did heroin. He just sold my TV one day, and he was very proud of the fact that he didn't inject heroin. He just snorted it, and he was very proud of that. He would be like, I don't know why. Like, it's not that big a deal. I just snort heroin. And I was like, well, I really wish you had told me that before I got mad. Now I feel like an asshole. Like, I even read that it's healthier to snort heroin than to just not do heroin. So I don't know why I got so upset about this. Any thoughts about that? I'm pretty happy with it.
I really like that a lot.
Any
Yeah,
feedback or
very
thoughts would
funny.
be great.
I think there may be some extra room for something, an extra step of, he just sold my TV, and I could see by how not upset he was that we had no TV. Or something, some kind of heroin behavior. You know, he's just like an
when I told
extra
him
step.
He's kind of nodding off a little bit as I was telling him.
Yeah.
He was so upset he just kind of like lurched over and I don't know, kind of hung the way I see people do in the park. All right, so that's the first one. Unless anybody else has anything.
I liked all of that. I felt the last portion the weakest, just the healthier to snort than to not snort heroin at all.
That's my favorite line though. Like I love
Yeah.
being like, I was like, I actually read that it's healthier to snort it than to just not do it.
Wait, who
As
reads
though-
that? You or he's telling you that as justification?
Oh, I'm telling him
He's
that
telling him,
to
yeah.
make it more ridiculous that it's still a huge deal to snort heroin.
Right.
I think there's room for an analogy after that of that's as if you were upset that somebody did this, and then your reaction was like, oh no, it's fine because this.
I think my
Okay.
favorite part of the joke is the idea that he's like proud of himself because he only snorts it.
I've actually read. That is the funniest part. I like that. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is that bothers me about that last.
About that line, it's healthier
line.
to snort heroin than to not do heroin.
Yeah, something about that is weird to me, but I can't
Yeah,
put
Yeah,
my
that
finger on
line
it.
is a little weird to me too. But I love the concept of him being like, "What? It's fine. I just snort it."
It seems like it's a tag to, oh, I don't know why I was mad,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
it's a different idea.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you need to either address that before you move on to that, or get to that with some kind of justification.
Or
Yeah,
him-
like
or
you're
him
saying. In
saying-
fact, like I so love heroin snorting. It's so healthy. Yeah, there's that thing.
I think he could say that line, and for me, it would feel like it wasn't
agree.
an issue. Like, what's the
Okay.
big deal? I actually read that it was healthier. I mean,
Well, I mean,
rather
I don't
than you
think
saying.
that would make him as a character too unbelievable and too
Yeah.
insane.
But I don't believe that you read that.
Yeah. Well, no.
There's-
Well, yeah. I'm being the idea being
The
that I'm
idea-
being sarcastic, where I'm like,
Right.
I don't know why I was mad. Now I feel like an asshole. And then, yeah, snorting heroin is
what?
not a big
You know
deal.
what?
It's actually better for you than not doing heroin, something like that.
Yeah, but the whole not. I think the negation is a soft punchline for me. What if you said a positive thing like funny word like aerobics or Pilates? Oh yeah, I actually heard that snorting heroin is actually healthier for you than, and then you did like a positive thing that you could do for your life
Yeah, I
as
think
opposed to
that-
not doing heroin.
I think what I'm going for here is like, those studies that are like moderate drinking is healthier than not drinking.
Yeah.
Having
Oh, yeah,
a glass of red wine
wine
is good for your heart. That
100%.
sort of thing.
I assume that you were setting up that, yes, I have read that snorting is better than smoking. Or I'm sorry, injecting. That snorting is better than injecting it, and that's what we were trying to set up. And I felt it, and I knew it was coming, and I was like, okay. And then when it was just not doing it at all, there was a little bit of me of like, oh yeah, okay. And I don't know. That's it. It was just the tiniest little bit of like a soft edge on the punchline
Yeah.
that made me go, yeah, that
Makes
technically
sense.
works.
That 100% makes sense.
What if
But
you-
that's it. That otherwise it's funny. It's a great little add-on to your sarcasm, your dripping, oozing sarcasm. I'm totally with that.
But that sarcasm is basically saying, like, the point of the sarcasm is it's still very unhealthy. But you go from, this is a bad excuse for me to not be mad, to it's still very unhealthy. And that change doesn't really. Why are you concerned for his health? I mean, it's
That
not
feels like
clear.
that's an excellent point. It does feel like an easy fix to me, where I can transition from that or go like, oh, I don't know why I was mad then. I feel like a real asshole. And then the next line could be something like
What-
that's not that much better. Like
we
there's
still
no-
don't have a
Yes.
TV. It's the same
It's
because it's,
not
the same outcome, right?
Yeah.
So what? Maybe that's what maybe that's what you. If you reference the TV or whatever the thing will be. If you
The next
reference-
line can just be bringing it back to the fact that he's proud about snorting heroin, as though it's better for you than injecting it or something.
Yeah, but-
it
but
feels like
I-
an easy fix.
But I think it's very funny that even if it was healthier, I mean, he still is a criminal now for
Yeah, who stole my TV?
selling your stuff. So like
Yeah.
he still
Also-
you ended up in the same place. Maybe it's better for him. You still
not-
don't have a TV.
Too sure about this, but I think that with heroin, snorting it would be less efficient in terms of the high. So you're wasting heroin really there. So more of a shitty excuse. You're like, you stole my TV and you're not even getting all the high out of it.
What if you put in your asshole? Is that better than
Think about
snorting?
this. Think about this. You sold my television. 50% of that cost of that television is just gone now. You could have put my whole television into your arm, but instead you wasted
You could have put a
half of my
40-inch
television.
You could have put a 40-inch TV in your veins, but you put a 20-inch up your nose.
If you had just injected it, you could have sold the DVD player instead. We would still have a television. That's really funny. All right. There's meat on that bone. All right. Anything else? Because there's something else that I wanted to
I
get
think
to
that's
as
it.
well.
I'm surprised we all came up with something for that one. I knew I liked the idea, but it seemed like none of us could figure out what it came together in the end.
You really did. We're amazing, guys.
We're pretty good at
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the second bit. My fiance will sometimes ask me questions specifically to make herself upset. She'll ask me questions like, "What's the best sex that you've ever had?" And I'm not a moron, so I lie, and I say, "With you, obviously." But then she'll get upset at me and be like, "What's the best sex you ever had with a woman who isn't me?" And I'm like, "You want me to tell you about having great sex with another woman?" And she's like, "Yes." And I want every detail. I want her first and last name. I want to know how she's
Oh my
doing.
God.
Wise, if you have her measurements, that would be ideal. I want you to rate her face, body, and vagina on a hotness scale from 1 to 10. And that information can only upset her. I don't understand that instinct. She told me it's because she wants to know, because she doesn't want to imagine it because it'll be worse in her imagination. So I did the smart thing, and I told her that the best sex I ever had before I met her was missionary position with a solid 6.5 named Karen. We had sex, we watched an episode of Big Bang Theory, and then as soon as she left my apartment, she got married and died.
Great.
Okay. Any thoughts? It feels like something kind of sloppy in the first part. That is
the
that's
address
just bothering me. Yeah.
being a detail in there is like there's no reason that why would she like she's not gonna get jealous of the girl's address.
Oh, did I say address?
Yeah.
I said I want every detail. I want her first and last name. I want to know how she's doing career-wise. If you have
Oh,
her measurements, that would
Oh,
be
okay.
ideal.
I thought I heard address too, but
Yeah, it must have
Yeah.
been measurements. I must have said Porsche.
twice. 2 references in this one. Going stronger than ever.
But even
here's-
her first and last name, I don't. Why is that something she would be jealous of?
I guess you're right. I mean,
I guess I thought it when you said
You
that,
should be looking for things to chop out of that setup. So like anything
Yeah.
Brett thinks is incongruous definitely can go, because the concept I'm like, got it. You know, like, oh, I want to know not just me, who else? You're like, all right, so I came with the best answer I could, and that was, you know, the best thing for her, which is this is the reality, and now you can have it in your head and be done with it, which is a great thing. But you definitely need to just get to that, I think.
because
Yeah.
I thought that you were going somewhere different with it, with the name and stuff. I thought it was like she would contact her or something.
Yeah. I had
And-
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, so I think you could definitely cut that. And the end of the joke is so tight, the getting married and dying.
Yeah.
That's so good that, yeah, if you get to it fast, I think that would be.
Yeah, I
So-
think you can also play up the just before you get to your response, play up the tension of it a little bit. Like this is really tricky territory, so I had to be very careful. I did my best. This is what I came up with, and
That's really
then
funny.
the
I like
audience
that.
can kind of decide, like, oh, wow, he did it! Yay!
I really like that.
That's
Here's
funny.
my questions for you guys about this. So number one, I like having the joke early on, just so I have like a little bit of a pop to get me through the setup of saying I'm not a moron, so I lied. But at the same time, it feels like that's giving away the end joke. But I guess if I do what Brett said and talk about how thin of a needle it is,
then you can
how
cut that
small
out.
of a target, I guess that's 2 different jokes then. So I guess that works because also a through line.
Saying
also.
or not saying that you lied?
When I started the joke, I said, my fans will ask me questions that specifically make herself upset. She'll ask me questions like, what's the best sex you've ever had? And I'm not a moron, so I lie.
Yeah.
And I say, with you, obviously. And so... But that's different than the lie that I tell at the end of the joke
Yeah,
if I
right.
if I say what Brett
It's-
said
yeah,
about
it's
like
different.
how difficult it is to thread that needle.
But you don't even have to say that you're lying. You could say that you were going to give the same answer regardless of whether or not it was true. Like you could, which is maybe slightly better.
Yeah, some of the things that cross my mind are, if you are lying, then I'm not sure what the truth is. You don't have to say what the truth is on this podcast if you don't want to, but I don't know what your truth is. Or if you're lying to the audience by making a joke, because in reality you're like, yeah, I love my fiance and it was the best sex we ever had. I don't really know, and it's just too much for me to be swirling around in my mind as an audience member.
I think you can get the joke across just saying, I'm not a moron, so of course I say her. And then we don't even need to know.
100%, 100%, 100%.
Oh,
And you
yes.
still get the joke across.
Yeah,
Now-
that's what I was wondering about.
If you want to say the lie thing, just had a joke in mind, take it or leave it. But I thought it'd be funny if you were just like, so obviously, I'm not a moron. I lie. I say, baby, me and you, New Year's Eve, 2008. But that wasn't real. It was actually her birthday. Whew, that was great.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot. That's very fun.
I like that a lot. Don't think that fits with Jarrett's voice. Is that a weird?
I think
it's
it
a loving fiance. He lied to her.
I think
it's so silly.
I think that's really funny, but then it gives you the chance to go into the next thing because
It makes the audience love you, by the way. That's you want that.
But
Which
it's
is why I don't
like,
think it fits for Jarret.
But
Yeah.
it could fit with this joke because he could say like whatever Rob said, and then he's like, "But I knew I had to come up with something, so I said it was 6.5, whatever the rest of the thing was." Like it is a nice bridge where you know you are coming off kind of in a good light, and then so you lying is kind of funnier. Because you're like making up this person, even though for some reason you don't want to say it was the birth. I don't know. I just think that's funnier because it's so silly.
Well, she specifically asked for a person that wasn't her.
Yes.
Right.
So
Which
he has to lie. He has to.
I
come
love
to
that
lie
dynamic
second time.
because if you don't lie in the first one, or you don't tell us it's a lie, you just say, this is what the answer is because I'm not dumb.
Right.
Now she's forcing you into the lie, and you're just doing your best. And that to me is the crux of the premise, which made me laugh just on its own. She asks questions that will make her upset, and you're just doing your best to please her. I think that's
But
very
I still think Rob's note fits with that. I mean,
I think
story.
it's a complete detraction, and it's just a joke for joke's sake. But I still think it's funny. Have you not
It
said
is very
things
funny.
that silly and that off
I love that.
track?
I want to hear
think-
Jarret say it.
yeah. Maybe you should because I love it because there's no way the audience is going to have. They're never going to see something like that coming. You know, they're going to be trying to guess
to
what
me
you're
to
going to
say
say.
to give a specific date and then say you were lying because there was
Yeah.
another date with
Yeah,
her.
because it was her. That's so funny to me. But yeah, maybe we should. Is that
I
weird
mean,
to make him say it now?
In my brain, I don't want to do it for the four of you as though it's a real stand-up show. You know?
But you just did
What?
the. You
Yeah,
just did
this
the
is
joke.
a safe place.
It's
So-
different.
You just
I have another joke you can not do if you want. Here's the second one that I had. Then she says, no, it can't be with me. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to talk about your sister or something. So that would be, but that's lower brow. I don't care about that. as
So
much.
here's the thing. This is the one thing that I also wanted to ask you guys about. So I think that one of the reason why I said yes and I want every detail, I want her first and last name, is I think that that's a very relatable thing for both men and women. They want to know all the details about the ex so that they can then stalk them on the internet. And they want to be able to go to their Instagram, and they want to be able to go, so maybe if instead of saying, I want her first and last name, and yes, I want every detail, I want her Instagram, I want to know how she's doing career-wise. If you have her measurements, that would be ideal. Rate her face, body, and vagina on a hotness scale from 1 to 10. Or maybe, instead of a hotness scale from 1 to 10, I want you to compare her face, body, and vagina to my face, body, and vagina, or something like that.
But if she has the Instagram, she'll be able to judge the hotness herself or whatever.
And
That's a
vagina.
good point.
So you don't really, but I don't know if you need that stuff. Like, I don't know if that stuff was.
It didn't
There was
add?
nothing wrong with it, but those aren't that is not the part that stands out to me.
Yeah, I guess what I
that
want.
stuff.
I want in that section is I want her to not just be asking for something that's going to hurt her feelings, but she wants to be hurt in every possible way. She wants to know that she's doing better career-wise. She wants to know that her body is better. She wants to know that the sex was better. She wants to know, that she has a nicer family. But I guess if that's not being read, then I guess it's not really worth getting into the muck over it.
I feel like this is a bit of a common theme in some of the jokes that you do tell, where you want to get very specific with what I think are set up elements, and you have a very good reason to as well, because you're like, no, I want to convey this thing, but it never sort of lands in punchline territory for me, or you don't harp on it in the way that you can certainly elongate any joke and make every little part of it very fun and funny. But it still feels like, at least pacing wise, or maybe the way that you're pushing towards it, it still feels like, I know there's a shoe dropping, but it's not dropping yet. So every detail, maybe it's just because you're not relishing in those details as much even. You know, like she wants to know this, and then you throw in a little metaphor. You know, she wants to be as hurt as a possible, you know, like remind us of that thread that you are trying to point across, you know,
That's
or
really
get
good.
across. Because then, like, she wants, you know, she doesn't want to just be hurt. She wants to know,
She
you know,
wants to be
deep down.
decimated.
Yeah,
She
right,
wants to be
right.
shattered.
Yeah.
When you break your leg versus when you need pins, that's what she
Yeah.
wants. She wants pins for her heart. That's a really good note. I appreciate that, Rob.
Stuff like that. And if there's a picture that's not flattering on Facebook, she wants a better one. She doesn't want to see, you know, she wants the best, yeah, whatever it is. Because you're giving these details, and they're all really, ooh, that's good. I like those details. But then they're not, like, driving that point home. Instead, I'm like, oh, he's getting to a punchline. I know it. And so as an audience member, as a listener, I'm like, is he going to get to... And then that last part was fun, but it was like this teeny little part right here versus all this setup. And I wasn't able to enjoy the setup because I was like, yeah, I think something's coming. I think something's coming. But if you can trick me into thinking nothing's coming, this is the fun. This is the story. This is, you know, we're already doing it. And then you get me that little bit at the end. I'm like, that was cool. And do the other joke I told you to do. I think it's funny.
If I hear this joke without that part, I'm going to be so disappointed. I love it so much. I don't know why.
It is very fun.
That's me and Anthony's sense of humor for sure. Anytime I do something super weird, he's like, yeah, more of that.
So good because it's so rare, you know, when they're trying to guess where you're going with it. It's so rare to have something that works that well that is completely there's no way they'll ever guess it.
Yeah.
You know,
Please
and it helps
stop,
the joke.
Anthony.
It's just it's so hard to do because usually it's like it'll go one way or the other. But when you have something that fits with the like it will help a story along, but also is like there's no way. It's a special kind of.
It is. For me, it's a
joke.
great detour because it has no bearing on the logic of the joke at the end of the day. It's just a perfect little detour, and you come right back into it. And hopefully it's worth a laugh. Who knows?
I am saying this only because I want to have a record of it so that when I'm transcribing and trying to work on the joke later, I have this bit here that I think it might also need the justification before I tell the thing about missionary position 6.5. I might also need the justification of, and I don't want to hurt her feelings. I don't want her to be upset, or maybe I don't want her to get mad at me, so I then fabricate this thing. That's it.
Cool. There is so much more to this too that I couldn't even get into because of the minutia that we were trying to get to. But I like that concept so much, and I would ask very typical questions of you, like, what else could she be jealous of that would ruin her? You know, what things about you would you? How would the shoe be on the other foot? What kind of questions might you ask in order to, you know, all those little stuff. I think is totally worth exploring as well. Yes, it's guy-girl relationship stuff, but it's not, you know, super well-trodden in this specific way. And I think you can bring an angle to it, which I really like. Like, I wouldn't mind this bit going on and on in these different directions. But this is the one angle that we did talk about today. So if we could talk about more angles in the future, that'd be really cool. Specifically, like I said, just, you know, what are the other things that would just destroy her that she just loves doing? Or like she doesn't do this in other things. You know, why does she want to be sad here? You know, when she goes to a restaurant, she's not like yelping other places she could have went to or whatever, you know, something along those lines. But yeah, we didn't pay too much attention to that.
What's her Uber score?
Seems like what?
What's her
Just,
Uber
I was just adding
what's her
an
Uber-
extra
what's her Uber
minute
rating?
detail.
Oh, that's
Something to
funny.
be nominal jealous.
I
of.
love it. I love it.
Her Uber rating.
That's really funny.
That's funny.
It would be kind of fun if the next part of the joke was then her answer to you. If you were like, well, now I want to know.
Or if unprompted, she just goes, well, mine was an Australian named Chad.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes my leg shakes just thinking about it. The best sex that I've had with you is when I was thinking about the sex that I had.
That's good. That's
really funny.
it's
And I
already
go,
there.
you know what? That's fair. That's fair.
good.
And then you had the best sex of your life.
That's very funny. I think that's already the next part of the joke. I think you could
yeah, that's
probably do
great.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I put the joke about how I don't ever try to give someone an orgasm, but only if it's on the way to my orgasm, then that would be a good, funny kind of callback for, you know, she says that the best sex was with this dude Chad, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Sounds like he put in a real effort, that guy. All right, and that's my time, guys. Thanks so much.
right.
Yeah,
That was
wow.
crazy productive and fun. Really
Oh,
appreciate it.
good. I'm glad.
Okay, I'm gonna hit record.
But no one reminded you, Brett.
No, I forgot.
Oh,
Brett, press record.
what should I do right now before I start?
Hold on 1 second.
Anthony's gonna go look it up.
He took off his glasses, so I think he's gonna go eat something he shouldn't.
What? Are you making fun of me?
No, we thought you just cheated on your diet because you
Oh.
took
Took
off
off
your
your
glasses.
glasses.
No, I
Oh,
thought you
oh.
were. I thought you were grabbing a yellow handkerchief because Brett had sent it to you in an epic.
Oh God, I wish I had thought of that.
Uh,
That actually would have been better than pulling that. I'm like, that would have been a better heightening.
That would have been so
God,
good.
I have it now. Funny.
Oh,
Oh
man.
man.
That is good. Now we can't do it.
I know.
All right, I'll edit this out.
Edit this
and
part
we'll
out.
do it
Do
for
the
the
bit.
audience. We'll do the handkerchief bit. No, I was just I was letting my dog out of the room.
Mm.
That was it.
Okay.
Because you don't want Brett's jokes to hurt his feelings.
No, but she just lies by the door and because she can't open it, and I knew she wanted to go out there. So
Daisies.
So,
You ever see those videos with the dogs and the buttons, and they can say different words by pressing
Yes.
on different buttons?
I haven't seen that. No.
It's really cool. You should try to see if Merle can learn some sentences. It's really amazing. They're just like out, play, food, and they can just step on these buttons.
You should
They
teach
know
him
what
how to step on the buttons. That this needs justification.
Was it
tags,
justification
tags.
alarm? Man, that was good.
Jarret,
That's a good
setup
episode.
too long. Jarret, setup
Setup.
too long. Too long.
Okay, sorry about that. I accidentally archived my my notes. Okay, what did I miss? What was happening?
Nothing.
You guys doing
No, nothing really.
Amy Good Gorilla?
You got 3 minutes left.
Okay. Cool. This is a premise that I am really excited about. I have not been excited about a joke premise like this
I
in
hate
a while. Okay. So in the last decade or so in the zombie genre, it is always spread via infection. And now that we are actually experiencing a real pandemic, I am really looking forward to how movies are going to update behavior that would reflect being in a pandemic. Like, I want to see a guy who is watching his neighbors get his brains eaten, and he's like, "That's a hoax. I'm not wearing a helmet." And then, like, maybe there's just like a bunch of loud sounds, and people are like, "Oh my God, is it gunshots?" Like, no, just 7 p.m. People start shooting fireworks at the zombies. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. It's been happening a lot, and while all that is going on in the world is just like burning, there'd be a bunch of celebrities that would be like, "Imagine all the people." That's it. That's the premise.
It's
and,
it's
some
great.
punchlines.
Great
It's
premise.
great. The two things I wanted to add were people talking about how being a zombie isn't that dangerous. It's like it's really only a problem if you're like over 75 years old, and like most zombies aren't even showing symptoms, which is like not a big deal, and that's why I'm at the beach. I don't think that you need the part about being a zombie is a virus. I think that it's a close enough it's a close enough analogy to be like apocalypse movies, any kind of apocalypse. And now that we're in an apocalypse, it's funny to think about what people's actual reaction is to it.
Okay.
Oh, I guess that's true. But I mean, I love zombie movies, and I didn't, when he said virus, I didn't think that was extra information because it is always a virus.
It did ring extraneous to me, but I don't.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not 100%. Yeah, to me, zombie movies and pandemic. Yeah, they do seem close enough where I'm not sure how much explanation I do need. I don't
what
want
if-
Brett's justification meter to like go off, but I do think that it's fine.
But
I'm
what
not
if
sure.
he
It's only
went
going
into-
off because you're trying to take away my justification.
But what if he went into, if you talked about virus things more later, then you could keep it like, you could say something about vaccines and testing and things like that, which you didn't, but
Right.
you could throw that in. If you talk about the other stuff, with the testing and the way that, quarantine, like, I don't know, more of that stuff, then the virus thing would, but because
ring
true.
then you're
Yeah.
talking more about apocalypse kind of situations than
Right.
pandemic.
I like hey, like only 0.08% of the is zombie population anyway. You kind of like big numbers argument. You're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
there's how many or even do you even know someone who's a zombie? Like, do you even
There are
Dude.
20 million zombies in America right now. It's just like, yeah, well, we're one of the biggest countries in the
the
world.
world with
Have more
330
zombies.
million people? So
And
what?
the UK, obviously.
Yeah, obviously the UK is only gonna have 20,000 zombies.
Maybe you need to learn about per
Idiot.
capita.
Well, so the zombies are happening more in liberal states. I don't know if you know that. It's because of Cuomo, and it's the politics of it. That's really funny too.
Okay. So something that bothers me about technology in sci-fi movies is that it is just seamless. It's flawless. It's smooth. Everything works properly. And I would like to see sci-fi movies that incorporate how technology actually works. Like, I want to hear a character say, "We've got incoming enemy drones, putting up force fields." Hold on, I got to update. Okay, I'm updating. Give me like 30 seconds. Oh shit, they changed the layout. I don't know where the force field button is now. Hold on.
It's on the top
I'm
right.
going to. Yeah, I went to settings. Okay, I'm in settings. Okay, I got it. Do we want force fields in English or Spanish?
Oh, I love this.
This is a great premise.
Is that the whole? Is that?
That's what I got so far.
Oh, that's so good.
The two ideas that I had were he forgets his password and he has to reset the password and got to go into his email to get the new password. And he's like, the new password needs an uppercase letter and a lower and number and a special character. The other one was
He can't get into the email.
I need a
said specifically-
third-party authenticator.
yeah. You said specifically that there were drones coming in, which I thought you were going to say because like the drones are technology also. So it's like maybe one of the drones looks like stops, it's like we got 4 drones incoming. Oh, sorry, 3 drones. Looks like one of them is rebooting or something. One of them's power cycling.
All right, great stuff.
Shit, I don't know. It's so good already. There wasn't anything that I wanted. There wasn't any more that I necessarily wanted.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that would be outside of just the computer stuff because this is great. I could just give you a pat on the back and say this is a funny bit, but I would love to crack the new window and transcend somewhere. I don't know what that is. So far, all the suggestions are computer related, and we could probably run the gamut on all computer stuff and problems that you might come across, be it Wi-Fi, passwords, or whatever. I'm just trying to see.
With tech support.
So
Yeah.
This bit is coming from a place of true frustration where I genuinely hate it when they update an app that I use regularly and I don't know where things are.
Yeah.
Specifically, Google Maps does this a lot, and I use Google Maps all the time. And so I will be in the middle of driving, which is not a good time to not know where buttons are and have to try and do something, and it's very frustrating. So I guess before we go to transcending, are there any other things that really frustrate you about technology? Because that's
Sure.
what I'd like to hit on.
The other thing I thought was like compatibility between like Android and Apple
that's very
phones.
funny. Yeah.
So it's like we don't have to worry about these droids because they're literal androids. They're androids.
So they're green.
This is a
Yeah,
Mac
exactly.
spaceship.
That's funny.
This is
What are
an
they-
Apple Air.
What do the Borg have to say? And it's like, I don't know, they haven't gotten back to us yet. It's like, well, do you see the bubbles? Are they at least typing? It's like, no, they're Android. So we're not going to know until we actually get the message.
Right.
They left us on read.
Is it on read or on read?
Is it on read or red?
I don't
Left us
know.
on red?
I always
On red.
pronounced it red receipts.
It's red. Yeah,
What?
that's my
Really?
mistake. Wow, I really
That's
fucked
how,
up.
that's,
there.
how, that's how I thought it was.
I always pronounce it as read receipts or unread.
Weird.
Uh-huh.
Why not unread?
You're right.
That's-
I guess I pronounce it red because of unread.
How much
What
longer
makes
we got?
more
'Cause
sense
I gotta-
grammatically?
I actually have to pick up some things that Dwayne read later, so I don't know if you guys have.
Red makes more sense because it would be past tense. Because you read something and then it's read, so you leave them on red.
Yeah, I think
Can
that's
this
right.
somehow go into the bit where you're trying to do the force field, but then this?
Oh, right, there are drones attacking.
Did you say left on read? Yeah, we're being attacked. It's red. You left on red. She's like, really? Well, let's think about it grammatically.
I hate when the computer keeps on trying to install new updates, and then it asks me constantly. So I was always clicking away those things. That's something that bothers me, for sure.
Okay.
And then yes, definitely with the apps too. I'm just like, every time I seem to open an app, I seem to have not updated it for whatever reason. That drives me crazy.
I guess what
Terms of service also, that's a thing.
Oh yeah.
What is it?
Terms
Oh,
of
sure,
service.
sure. Yeah.
So like when they're reinstalling the force field, you can just be like, agree.
The app keeps crashing. You have to keep reopening the app.
Okay, great. So Rob, so I'm good if you guys want to go into transcending. If you had some ideas, Rob.
I really didn't. That's
Oh.
what's unfortunate about it.
So when you say transcending, but you mean like you want to heighten?
like a general
Is that what you're saying?
heightening, yeah, heightening is kind of the thing where I'm just like, yeah, we can certainly list all the things, and that's super funny, and if you get the wording right, everything's gonna be cool, and I just love the act out. All that stuff's fun.
Or maybe the heightening is when you talk about the race of the Borg, of the people who are technology, like the evil people who are technology, and like they shouldn't work perfectly either.
Oh yeah, that's
know?
true.
Right.
Well, they get
Like
it.
that.
They get into fights. They can't get along.
They fight with each other.
Yeah, you always do this every time
Yes.
we're on a droid mission.
I liked when Jarret said that I think it was Jarret when the drones were coming, that there was problems with them because all of your jokes have to do with the problems on your end. So it would be funny to also imagine problems on their end. It's just like we have problems here, but there's also got to be problems on that end as well. And I don't really know what that would be as far as projectiles. Oh, except for like if they actually had. Oh wait. Okay, so the radar. You see the boop. Boop. He's like, but I've been waiting for my Uber driver before. Looks like he's spinning around. He's never where he's supposed to be. How come there's never that stuff with the missiles? We're like, I think the missiles are over the Atlantic, but wait, one of them looks like it's just spinning in circles. But
The missile just canceled. I got a new missile.
Impact
I got a
in
new
30
missile.
seconds. 25 seconds. 3 minutes now?
3 minutes? Yeah. Oh my God, that's great. The missile's 20 minutes away now. Now it's a
Oh my
new
God.
missile. Our guy Umar.
The missile's gonna hit us. The missile's gonna hit us. Wait a minute. It's a red missile. We're waiting for a green missile. That must be someone else's missile.
Not our missiles? No, those aren't. Those are headed for Russia. Okay, yeah, that visual layout.
That's
Okay.
great.
That's something. That's different.
All right.
Yeah, I
That's
do
all
I'm
I had.
satisfied. I feel like I contributed.
I do like the idea of the technology on the other side, like because it doesn't. You can't get the force field up, and they can't get the drone missiles or whatever to you. That's pretty. That's funny.
Yeah, especially if I'm getting into this like frustrated, like I'm in settings and stuff like that, and then I can kind of be like, oh, never mind, it froze. The missiles froze. The drones,
Yeah.
they're updating too.
right.
Yeah, I could just kind of diffuse it. I like that. That was it. That was all I had. Those are the two premises I had. That
I
and
had
the
nothing for that.
defund the chicken police. You know what? Sometimes you write a joke, it's just already so good. It's like, what else can you
It
do?
really.
Yeah.
That was the most fully formed bit from anyone today. That was
really good.
that was a great bit.
Okay, well, that concludes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man.
I love
That was
you.
excellent.
I mean,
I love you. Oh boy.
You want us
you
to
too,
edit
man.
that out, Jarret?
I want you to edit it out and put it at the beginning.
This is a reverse episode. so.
Do I love you? And then Jarret.
And then we just throw plastics in there somewhere.
I can't wait until the next one where we are all wearing yellow bandanas. I'm gonna order mine now on Amazon.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check back for more individual clips and full episodes every Monday, or you can listen wherever you enjoy podcasts. If you want to support the show and get access to special fan-only content, go to patreon.com/ITAPod. That's ITA Pod, as in Is This Anything Podcast. Relevant links in the description. Take care.